It's one of the pleasures of my life to introduce this man, Dr. Mohammed Sadiq. He's a clinician, academic, and a world-renowned eye surgeon. He's one of the most inspiring individuals I've ever had the opportunity to meet, and he joins us here today with a remarkable story that speaks to the power of faith and the will in the face of tremendous adversity. Dr. Sadiq is an eye surgeon and a distinguished fellow of the Royal College of Surgeons and Physicians in Glasgow in the UK. He earned his MBBS from Government College Medical College in Calicut and postgraduate specialization from Aligarh University. He has over 20 scientific publications. He's delivered lectures all over the world. He's respected as a trainer of highly skilled surgeries, an examiner for many colleges internationally. He's a practicing ophthalmologist and he performs as many as 15 eye surgeries a day.
His conversion from a high-profile Hindu Brahmin family some 30 years ago brought a mass hysteria and unrest to the state of Kerala on the southwest of India, where he joins us today. He was detained and tortured with threats made to his life and person. Remarkably, miraculously, Dr. Sadiq endured months of isolation, and he joins us today to share some of his story. A story with striking similarities and relevance to the controversies in today, not only in Kerala, but all over the world. We are inviting you to another great episode of My Faith, My Right with Dr. Mohammed Sadiq. Thank you, Doctor, for joining us today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We know you as Dr. Sadiq, but your name was Satyanathan. Your father name Gopalakrishnan Nambishan. Your mother Devaki. Both of them were teachers, and you were born to a Brahmin family, the praise class of a Hindu family. Later you converted to Islam when you were in the final year of your MBBS study at medical college. What was your parents' reaction to the conversion?
To begin with, my parents, they were quite understanding, and they were also spiritually oriented. My studies, my change, it was not a sudden. It took over a period of time, and I used to discuss all the things, my research in the field of religion and spirituality. I used to discuss with them, and they were also with me in the process of the research. So they didn't have any reaction, and in fact I did stay at home even with Islamic belief and faith for 2 years, and I didn't have any problem at all in the beginning.
You say you converted to Islam because you believed God was one. But doesn't Hinduism also start from this concept? Please explain these to us. Why did you feel you had to change paths?
Well, in Hinduism, there are many kinds of philosophies to explain the existence of God. For example, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, Traita, and so on. There are many concepts, many philosophies. And when you go to the literature of the Hindu scriptures, ancient scriptures like Veda and Upanishads, you can find a lot of theologies pointing out strongly to the monotheism. But there are elements of monotheism in the beginning of Hinduism. But as of now, what the people do practice, it's entirely different from the concepts in Upanishads and Vedas, and it's purely polytheism. It's purely a worshipping of the creations of the God, and not the creator. So that's the difference. And from the beginning of my life, my early childhood itself, I was in my family was much deeply connected with the temple and worship and the activities of the temple, and I was quite interested in godly thoughts, spirituality. I was eager to know about the God and the universe. I used to think about the universe, how it is created, why it is created, why did I come to this world, what is the purpose of life. And I used to search through the scriptures. Because of my eagerness, I did study Sanskrit and went through Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads and all. And
You were spiritually oriented.
yeah, I was spiritually oriented, and I had intense desire of getting closer to God. And my spiritual study started with Bhagavad Gita. And in the Gita, Arjuna asked a question to Krishna: Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthidadi kim prabhasheda kim asida vrajeda kim. It's a question about a perfect personality, how he behaves and what is his attributes. And Krishna explains, answers at length. And I started practicing these qualities, cultivating into my life, and it landed up in some sort of a parityaga, a life of saintly life, through which I could attain God, self-realization, nearness to God. And I was really struggling in that path, doing too much of hardship, taking up hardships to get closer to God. So ultimately, through my research, I learned about Islam, and I could understand that this is the way which I am searching for, and this is the real way by which I could go closer to God. Simply making sacrifice without a name, without a proper direction from God, there is no meaning. And Islam is the way where is the command of the God to obey Him, to worship Him. And how could each and everyone can attain nearness to God and pleasure of God and please Him and become successful in the life in the hereafter.
You describe these early challenges on your spiritual path, that you were renouncing the material pleasures, renouncing the pleasures of the world. Was Islam very difficult?
No. Islam is much, much, much easy to me than my previous faith. I was struggling a lot. I was leading a very tough life of a saint. And now everything is free for me. People say that Islam is a tough religion, so much of limitations and restrictions. But to me, it is a rather broad way. When I compare to my previous faith, my previous practice of sannyasam. So this is a much wider, much enjoyable, much easy way.
So after your conversion, did you have any challenges? Did you face adversity?
Yeah, of course, a lot.
Can you tell me?
Yeah. In the beginning, as I said earlier, until 2 years there was nothing, no problem at all. I did stay at home. I was practicing. My mom and my sisters, they were also with me in the faith and practice of Islam. And my father, he was neither against nor interested. Later after 2 years, the people outside, they came to know, and they came in between, and that started troubling me. They created a lot of problems in my past. And finally, they detained me for 5.5 months. They started harassing me, pressurizing me to change over to the past religion. And
now they detained you on the grounds that they alleged that you were crazy, but it sounds like your conversion was the result of some serious self-study, that you had been doing a lot of reflecting and a lot of research. Why would somebody allege that you were crazy?
It was because they know the fact, but it was because of some bad motives. They wanted to brand me as a lunatic madman so that they could preserve their...
So that they could save face, that they would not have the shame.
And also they wanted to take away my rights. If a person is proved to be a lunatic, he don't have any right. fundamental rights, he is wiped off, and they can play with me, they can do anything on me, they can detain me, they can manhandle me, and I can't question in the court of law. So that is why they wanted to do it like that. I have no rights to question them. That is what they wanted to do.
Actually, they had a plan to take you to mental hospital.
Yeah.
But it failed.
Yeah.
How did it go wrong?
They took me first to a psychiatrist. He was a professor of our medical college that time, and they took me to his clinic, and they presented to him that I am a mentally disturbed person and I need treatment and admission in the hospital. But he examined me and he found out that I am mentally sound, and he outrightly rejected to admit me in the hospital. He told them that I have no mental disease at all and I could not be admitted.
But how did they manage to detain you then?
Later they went to the court and they presented a fabricated case to the court, and they misguided the court, that stating that I am mad and I would be dangerous to the community. If I am left in the community, I would be dangerous to the community. I should be admitted in the hospital, mental hospital, detained and treated, and they want my custody. And I appeared in the court, and the court, even though the court found out that I am of sound mind, later they referred me to a hospital for an examination.
Achieving MBBS is the pinnacle of achievement in Indian education, the dream of every student in 90s especially. It sounds like you are willing to abandon your studies to follow your new faith. Why did you place so much importance on your religion?
Well, because ultimately my life is only very short in this world. I have to die one day, and whatever I earn in this world, my degrees, my education, my wealth, money, everything, I have to leave and go back to the creator of the universe. And what I gain is, if I have recognized the creator of the universe, if I obey him, if I worship him, and that is more important, that will save my soul. Even in my Hindu days, I was prepared to abandon after my MBBS, I was prepared to go to the Himalayas, settle down there, and lead a saintly life. I was ready to sacrifice my profession in search of God, to get the pleasure of God, to please Him, and it was not a big issue to me.
Your father gave a complaint to the court that you were missing. What was the content of the complaint?
It was a fabricated complaint. I was never missing. Father was under pressure of some people, and they made him lodge a complaint in the court, some wrong, misguiding the court. They wanted to put me either in a mental hospital or even kill me. They could pressurize me, they could harass me. Primarily they wanted to harass me and compel me to change over to their own religion, abandon my Islam and go back to their religion. If I don't agree for that, then their next plan was to put me lifelong in a mental hospital, in an asylum, branding me as a lunatic person, or either even to kill me.
At that time, there was a report in the newspaper that your friends kidnapped you and forcibly converted you to Islam. Obviously, this does not sound like what you're describing to us. Was the media always antagonistic? Were any outlets supportive of you?
It was a purely false reporting. Most of the time, the media was reporting wrongly. They were reporting many wrong things about me.
Were you aware of any of the media coverage during the proceedings?
During the detention, I was not aware. I was totally cut off from the outside world. I didn't have any idea what is going around. And so that time I didn't. But later when I got out, I got all this news.
Were you permitted to talk with people?
No. In the detention, I was not able to talk to my people whom I want to meet and talk. But even my relatives, my mom, my grandparents, nobody was, I wasn't able to meet and talk to anybody. Whereas the opponents, the people who want to harass me, they could come at any time and do anything with me. That was the situation there.
You didn't have any idea what was going outside, right?
Yeah, I didn't have any idea. The aim was to cut off me from the external outside world, and so that they could pressurize me and compel me and take me back. That was their idea.
Uh, what about the attitude of police?
Police, they are always biased. That time, they were biased.
But the police should have been selected from, should have been representative of the civilian population. So you would have had Muslim policemen as well?
No. The policemen, they were selectively appointed. No, the Muslims, they were not allowed to take duty in my place, and selectively it was sent. And most of the policemen, they were selected from a peculiar fanatic sect of religion. In the mind, they were very angry to me, but they couldn't do anything, any harm on me. It was a protection from God.
Did the police allow you to meet your visitors?
The visitors means most of the people whom I want to meet, this police, they won't allow to come in. Whereas those who are coming to harass me, they will allow. That was the situation.
During the month of Ramadan as well, you were in detention. Were you able to fast? I mean, what was that experience like?
Of course, I did. I was able to take all the fasts as well as all the prayers, the 5 times prayers and optional prayers, everything. I didn't miss any of the prayers or fasting.
In 1989, the court placed you under observation for 10 days. After observation, your detention continued. Why? Were the doctors not satisfied?
It was some sort of a pressure tactics. I was ordered to be detained initially for 10 days. The doctors, they wanted to extend the detention, and it continued many times. And ultimately, the aim was to indefinitely keep me in detention, and so that I would be compelled to go back to their religion.
What you describe sounds like torture. I'd like to know more specifically what pressures they put you on while you're in detention, and would you describe it as intentional torture?
Yeah. The first thing they did is to cut off my relationship with the external world, so that I am totally isolated and I don't get any news from outside, what's going on outside. And even about the details of my case, I was not able to understand. It was a bit difficult to talk to my lawyer. And then all the time they could bring in any person, either to harass me, to threaten me, mentally torture me, and they send me hitmen threatening to kill me, and so on. It was more sort of a mental torture.
Well, and what about people you wanted to see?
Yeah, they didn't allow the people whom I wanted to see. And during the detention, they tried even to do electroconvulsive therapy, it's a shock treatment. That means put 2 electrodes on the side of the brain, the head, and pass the electric current so that they can destroy the mind. They can convert an intelligent person into an idiot. It's a sort of treatment modality for severe psychiatric disorders like schizophrenia and severe depression.
So you're enduring all of these hardships in isolation. You've had no contact with the people outside, many of whom are supporting you. I mean, you couldn't even have had an inkling of the many people that were supporting you. What about your mom, your sister? Did you know if they were safe?
Even my sisters and my mom, they weren't able to meet me, or I was not permitted to meet me and talk to them, because they were also were with me in the same faith at home. So they were also detained at home, and they weren't allowed to keep in touch with me, and they were also had a lot of hardships at home. My mom, she was a teacher, school teacher, and she wasn't permitted to go to the school for the work, so that she will get mingle with the other people outside and get to know about the whereabouts, or even maybe able to pass on some message to me. So she was detained at home. My sisters, they were also studying in the colleges, and they were detained at home, not permitted to go for the school, for the college. And also they were tortured mentally, they were harassed at home by different people. They brought in different people from outside to harass them.
You had no communication with your mom?
Almost, there was no communication, but she used to send me some small chits of papers. At times I used to get food from home, and she used to write small pieces of message over small piece of paper, and she used to wrap the salt and pepper like that and send to me in the lunch box. And I used to get such small messages, but I wasn't able to reply to even to that, because I have to send the box empty at home, and these people, they can capture, and they will torture, they will put more trouble on me as well as my mom. So I didn't reply, but I used to get some small letters like that.
Was it like a prison for you?
It was much more than a prison. Even for the prisoners, there is some extent of freedom, like they can get newspapers, people can go and meet them, and they have some sort of liberty, but this was much more than a prison.
Anybody threatened you?
Yeah, they did send me hitmen. They used to threaten me, and their threat was, even if the court let me free at the end of the course, these people, they won't let me live. They will kill me. That was their threat.
They cleared to you.
They clearly told me.
While in detention, you were away from your mother, and you were isolated. Did you cry?
No, I didn't. I was enjoying the situation, because all this I'm doing for a purpose, for a cause, to get closer to God, and He will reward. I was sure, absolutely sure, that He will help me and He will reward me. So I was happy, and I was sure that nothing will happen without His will and permission. Even if this enemy, they come with arms and to kill me, nothing will happen. He wills, it will happen. Otherwise it will not happen. So why should I fear? He is with me, I am for Him, so why should I fear? So I was quite happy.
Actually, you believed you got a great opportunity to please Him.
Well, they're expecting that this hardship, that this torture is going to be taking a toll on you, but I think...
And all the people who torture me, they fed up. They did fed up. Doctor in charge of this detention, he asked me many times, are you getting sleep? I told him I am sleeping very nicely. He told me that he is not getting sleep because of too much pressure on him.
All of this compounded by the fact that you are in complete isolation, that all of these challenges you're going through, you have nobody to share them with. I wonder what was giving you strength through all of these hardships, the torture, the isolation, the threat, the uncertainty. What got you through?
Well, because I was doing this for a cause. I have opted this faith purely on merit, and also it was on a with a clear aim, because I wasn't bothered about the worldly life at all. The worldly life, the life in this world is very short, and my fate is decided, already predetermined by the creator of the universe. How long I will live, when I will die, how much I will attain in this world, that is being determined. So I don't have to bother at all. And what I have to do is to struggle for the pleasure, getting the pleasure of the creator, and also the success in the life in the hereafter. So I was sure, even if they kill me, is nothing to me, because I became a martyr in the face of my God. And they cannot kill me even before 1 second. They cannot advance my death even by 1 second. I will die only on that particular moment when God has already predetermined. So I don't have to fear anything at all.
You are willing to die?
Yeah, I was willing even to die for the cause of the faith, because it's an honor to me, and the more I sacrifice, the more do I sacrifice for my faith, for my Lord. It's a reward for me. It's a recognition for me. I will get I will get in the hereafter, or whatever I lose, I will get the rewards in the hereafter.
You found it as a way to please the God.
Yeah.
Under the law, nobody had the authority to detain you for 1 month, but you were under detention for 5 months. Did anybody point out the illegality of the detention itself? I mean, what the court was doing was illegal by its own laws. Did you have any idea?
Even the 1 month was wrongly implemented, because there was no basis for this detention. I was not a criminal. There was no allegation of criminal act on me, and there was no provision to detain such a person, simply alleging that he is a lunatic or a madman. It was totally wrong. And my lawyer was not that learned in the aspect, and that could be the reason why this was ordered, and he was unable to question in the court of law.
Actually, your trial was finished on 10th of July, and your father's lawyer asked for the extension of the case several times. What reason did they give, actually?
It was some foul play between my lawyer and my father's lawyer. I don't know what circumstance they were doing like that. They jointly started extending the case. They were postponing the case, and maybe they are trying to pressurize me by indefinitely extending the case. They might have thought that I will come down, I will surrender to their demands.
During your detention, you studied law book along with your medical books. Were you prepared to argue in court?
I was compelled to study, because I wanted to scrutinize what my lawyer is doing right or wrong. I studied a bit of law, like law of evidence, the Indian Evidence Act, Indian Lunacy Act, Mental Health Act, and
To keep tabs on him.
yeah, and moreover, psychiatry books also, Oxford textbook of psychiatry, because I want to understand what is going on in the court, and is it in the right direction. Because even my own lawyer, he was influenced by the opponent. That means I was in a very difficult situation to prepare my arguments by myself.
What did you determine what did you do when you determined that he was under the influence of the opposing?
I terminated him. And to get another lawyer was also a bit difficult for me, because I was not permitted to go out or search for people or even contact others, or even on phone. So it was a tough situation, but I had to terminate him.
You didn't know it first.
In the beginning, I didn't understand, but later, when the proceedings was getting too much delayed, and every time it is being extended for the months together, then I came to know that is not in the proper way.
Finally, you went to High Court seeking justice. Did you find it?
Even to go to the High Court, it was a tough job for me, because I couldn't appoint a lawyer, I couldn't talk to a lawyer, discuss with a lawyer, even issue a letter of authorization to any lawyer. But somehow I managed and went to the court and High Court, and it was the verdict came in my favor, and I was released from the illegal detention.
It was a big trouble.
Yeah, there was a big trouble. Yeah.
Your case was a success finally. What then? Did you just go home?
No, after the case, I continued my studies. I was in the final year of MBBS. My studies got interrupted for a year, and then I continued further with my studies. I completed my MBBS. Then I did my post-graduation from Aligarh University.
They did everything in their power to bring you back to Hinduism, to reconvert you. With the pressures, with the opposition, if it was a matter of choice, a matter of weighing the cost and the benefit, I think most people, all people, would have given up. But you didn't. You've maintained there's more to faith than this. In effect, you are proving with your life that forceful conversion is impossible. Is that right?
Yeah. Forceful conversion. Nowadays, people speak a lot about forceful conversions, and it's impossible, because by force, someone can change the words, but not the faith in the heart. Faith is in the heart. No one can change another person's faith and belief which is in the heart. People can pressurize someone and make some public statements over the media, but that won't change his faith. It's impossible. And the policy of Islam is very clear. There is no compulsion at all in the case of faith. There is no compulsion in Islam. La ikraha fid deen. There is no compulsion to believe. And those who want to believe, they can believe. Those who want to disbelieve, they can disbelieve. But the result is there, that they have to face it. It's up to them. So
there's a consequence for
there is a consequence. There is a consequence for that, and they have to bear it. That's all. Well, it's not possible to convert by means of pressure, by harassment, because no one can change the faith in the heart. The faith is in the heart, and no one can change it by any means of pressure. Under gunpoint, they can make someone say something on the media, but that won't change the faith. They tried to pressurize me a lot to take me back to their religion, and they didn't succeed. I didn't obey to their demands, and it is not possible to change the heart by force. People are coming to Islam by their own choice, and they are being pressurized to go back to their previous religion by means of pressures, and nowhere the people are going back. It's not possible. Those who get convinced and by their own choice they adopt a new faith, it's there. It's not possible to change, and in fact the pressure is happening to go back to their previous religion, and they are trying to take them to their previous religion. But it's impossible. They cannot do that. It's impossible to change the heart.
Incredible. Your story really shows that. Thank you, Doctor, for sharing your story with us. Such an example really resonates with the issues of the day.
Absolutely. Not only in Kerala, but all over the world, people are going through tremendous hardship for the purely personal matter of faith. But as you said yourself, Doctor, faith is in the heart.
Yet there are those who look to control others.
And still more who profit off the hatred and suspicion of others. There are those who look to divide us on such grounds. But whatever the case may be, your story is testament to the strength of faith, and how when God puts such strength and resolve in the heart, there's not a force in the world that can overcome it. Doctor, truly, thank you for sharing your story. I wonder, finally, do you have a message you'd like to share with our viewers?
Well, we have come to this world not by our choice. We were sent by the Creator of the universe. And we have to go back one day to Him. No one will live here infinitely. Everyone has to go back. And why we have come, what is the purpose of our life? It's not, we haven't sent here simply wasting our time. It's for a definite purpose. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We are sent, we are created for worshipping the Creator of the universe. We have to obey Him, we have to worship Him. And the first commandment which is given to all the communities is that we should worship our Creator and only Him, not the creations. But by and large, the people, they tend to supplicate, worship the creations, the man, the living or dead, the animals, the sun, the moon, the stars, inanimate objects, and so on. In fact, it's an insult to the Creator. Worshipping the creation is an insult to the Creator, and it's a big sin. It's a major sin. The Creator of the universe, He sent us lots of messengers, starting from the first person in the face of the earth, Adam, and then Noah, and Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and ultimately, lastly, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All the messengers of God, they came to us, they proclaimed that La ilaha illallah. You should have no God other than the Creator of the universe. And that first commandment we have to obey. We should worship Him alone. And we should follow the ways, the path shown by the messengers of the God. We should not discriminate among the messengers. We should believe in all of them and follow the messengers of the God, and fulfill the commandments of God, and prepare ourselves for the life in the hereafter, and that is the eternal life. Our ultimate aim should be the success in the life in the hereafter, the paradise, and for that we have to obey the commandments of our Creator and follow the lifestyle shown by the prophets of God. To attain the goal in the path of obedience to the Creator, anyone can get hardships, and even if we lose the whole of our money, our wealth, our belongings, and if at all we have to sacrifice our life, it is nothing comparing to our responsibility and duty to the Creator, who has given us brain, the heart, the lungs, who has created us, who has given us life, who has given us health. And we have a responsibility, duty to Him. And even if we have to sacrifice everything is past, we should be ready for that, because this world is perishable. Whatever we gain in this world, it is one day we are going to lose it. We have to die. We are going to die. No one can escape from the death. So we have to prepare. We have to sacrifice ourselves and get closer to God, obey His commandments, and get His pleasure, and become a successful person in this life and in the life in the hereafter, which is the real and everlasting life. That's my message. Thank you.